Police have confirmed the killing of a suspected kidnap and armed robbery kingpin who recently orchestrated the kidnap of the chairman of the Universal Basic Education Commission along Abuja-Kaduna Road. In a statement, the police force public relations officer, Mr. Frank Mba, declared that the suspect, Mr. Sumaila Sule, a native of Rijana village in Kachia local government area of Kaduna State, was killed in a shootout with police operatives attached to the Operation Puff Ada. According to the statements, the police operatives came under a gun attack by Sule's gang while carrying out routine raid of suspected criminal hideouts on May 17, 2019 on the outskirts of Rijana village. A police team, however, repelled the attack, bringing Sule down while his gang members fled. He was rushed to hospital, where he eventually died the next day. 4 other members of the gang were later arrested. 3 AK-47 rifles were recovered. Meanwhile, residents of Katari community located along the Kaduna-Abuja highway are still living in fear of incessant abduction of residents and travelers along the route. Speaking through their community leaders, the residents claim the actions of suspected kidnappers have crippled their farming and trading activities in the last 3 years. They also accuse security operatives posted to the area of not doing enough to bring the menace of kidnapping to an end. This is Katari, an agrarian community located along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, predominantly known for cultivation of rice, beans, yam and other farm products. The once peaceful community has been in the news in the last 2 years, mainly due to the activities of kidnappers in the area.
Nobody goes to the farm and you feel free to operate on your farm. Come back home, you want to sleep, you are not still free because if you hear a knock like this, you are in trouble.
Yet, there are local people living and doing business in the town, despite the security challenges. Danladi Sambo is one of the victims.
I was kidnapped in this express road because I saw them. I think they are enforcement. I greet me in the way. I say good evening, sir. They answer my greeting, and again they tell me that we are not enforcement. We are beyond robber. And with my motorcycle, they go away with my motorcycle, and that's the day my child died.
These community leaders are worried the security operatives who are supposed to take the battle to the base of the bandits inside the forest have chosen to remain within the town. Despite the criticism from the locals, the police authorities seem to be making progress as troops of Operation Puff Ada recently arrested 93 suspected kidnappers along the Kaduna-Abuja highway. Parading the suspects, the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ali Janga, says 35 AK-47 rifles, 21 Dane guns, and several other weapons, including a rocket launcher, were recovered from them.
2 days ago, there was even a stakeholders meeting in Rijana by the Fulanis and the natives. The level of cooperation between the natives and Fulanis and the security agencies, it has improved, not like before. Yes, because we give them assurance that we'll liaise with them, we'll collaborate with them to ensure that not even safeguarding the Abuja-Kaduna road, even cattle rustling will be checkmated too.
The Kaduna-Abuja highway has become one of the dangerous routes in the country due to the activities of armed bandits. What these residents are therefore demanding is for security operatives to take the battle to the doorstep of the criminals rather than limiting their operations to the town. Staying with issues around security, in Ondo State, gunmen have reportedly abducted 3 persons traveling along the Auga-Ikare-Akoko Road. The victims, who were traveling in a Toyota Corolla car and a Mitsubishi pickup van, were said to be going from a wedding ceremony in Ikare-Akoko. The wife of one of the victims was left to report the incident for possible negotiation on payment of ransom. The police, in conjunction with a local vigilante group, have since swung into action, combing the nearby area to rescue the victims. Spokesperson for the Ondo State Police Command, Mr. Femi Joseph, who confirmed the incident to Channels Television, says the police is already on the trail of the perpetrators and has assured that they will be apprehended soon. A nurse at a private dental clinic in Talhudud community in Kano State is still battling for survival after her throat was slit by an alleged rapist. The 18-year-old nurse was on duty at the facility in Gwale local government area when she was attacked by a 20-year-old messenger at the clinic. After she resisted his attempts to rape her, he allegedly tried to slit her throat. The suspect has been arrested and is in police custody.
The serenity of the environment in Talhudu is suddenly shattered by the screams of 18-year-old Aisha Kabir, a nurse at a dental clinic, whose throat is being slit by a 20-year-old assailant after she resists his attempts to rape her. Before her attacker can finish her off, help arrives in the form of a janitor who rushes to her rescue, but he receives multiple stab wounds for his trouble.
We searched him everywhere, we did not see him. So I let her think, okay, and there is not any place to hide inside this place. So I now tell the policemen that they should check upstairs, the tank. Maybe the suspect might hide inside the GP tank. So they now check there, they saw a boy there, they cut the tank and they removed the boy from the water tank. They bring him out. Immediately they bring him out. I know the boy. He's the boy I normally send. He's the imaginary I normally send in my house to go and buy things for me.
I
took food for her to break her fast, after which I helped her start the generator. I demanded for a phone and was forcing her to lie with me, but she refused, so I decided to slit her throat. I really feel bad for what I did.
The Kano State Police Command is concerned about security arrangements at private hospitals in the state, even as it investigates the incident.
And even the owner of the clinic was arrested because, taking into consideration you're operating a private clinic and at a given time there is no security there, you know, it's a negligent act. And in addition to that, at the time she was attacked there, she is the only personnel on duty.
Aisha is out of hospital, but that is not because she has recovered. Her wounds still need very careful tending. Besides needing proper health care to heal her physical injuries, Aisha would also require psychological care to help her recover from the trauma of attempted rape. From Talhudu, Kano State, Nanchin Vincent reporting for Channels Television News.
Human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana is asking President Muhammadu Buhari to order the release of 40 Nigerians who have been in illegal custody of the Nigerian Navy. In an open letter to the president, the senior advocate of Nigeria says he has received complaints from the family members of 40 detainees who have been held incommunicado in dehumanizing conditions for periods of 6 to 8 months. According to Mr. Falana, the unlawful detention contravenes sections of the 1999 Constitution and the African Charter on Human and People's Rights Ratification and Enforcement. Mr. Falana adds, in fact, some of the detainees are incarcerated in an underground military detention facility in Abuja, while others are held inside one of the vessels impounded by the Nigerian Navy in Marina, Lagos. Away from security, the Nigeria Governors Forum is not happy with the decision of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit to regulate how state governments disburse funds to their respective local governments, and the body is not mincing words about it. The governors, in a letter issued on their behalf by the NGF spokesman, Abdulrazak Bello Barkindo, is asking President Muhammadu Buhari to call the NFIU to order. The unit had on May 6th announced new guidelines which would make the joint account system currently in use by state and local governments only exist for the receipt of allocations from the Federation account, but not for disbursement. Last week, the NFIU also issued another warning asking the governors to steer clear of local government funds effective from June 1st. But the governors described the measures as a brazen attempt by the NFIU to ridicule its collective integrity. The statement reads in part, in principle, the NFIU should concentrate on its core mandate of anti-money laundering activities and combating financing terrorism as prescribed in the Act establishing it, and should desist from encroaching on or even breaching constitutional provisions. They argue that the move violates the Constitution, adding that they reserve the powers to make statutory allocations to the local governments. For 11 years, local government elections have not been conducted in Bauchi State. Besides denying the grassroots elected representatives, the local government areas are being governed by appointed caretaker committee chairmen. This has raised concerns among civil society groups and the people. In this report, our correspondent, Hajara Aliyu, examines the implications.
Bauchi State was created in 1976 when the former northeastern state was broken up. The state has 20 local government areas with workers in various secretariats spread across the state. Since 2008, the people at the grassroots have not had the opportunity to exercise their franchise. Lack of local government elections has truncated the aspirations of politicians seeking elective office at local government level. Residents believe this has obviously stalled development.
My area has problem of water for more than 20 years, and we don't have water up till now. They depend on wells. They dug wells, what do you call it, boreholes. And some of the boreholes used to dry up because the government are not intervening.
Besides concerns about how local government funds are being managed without elected officials, failure to hold elections from the legal perspective amounts to a breach of the Constitution.
Those caretaker committee chairmen, those are still illegalities. They are not provided for in any way, either in the Constitution or in any law whatsoever. Those are just creations by the governor. And the governors that have done this are governors that have been dipping their hands into the money that is meant for the local government. And that is why they are doing it. And over time, they've been doing this thing that people have even forgotten that local government chairmen are elected and not appointed by the governor.
Past administrations claim they did not have sufficient funds to conduct elections at the grassroots. The present government has refused to comment on the issue after several attempts. But is the State Electoral Commission aware of this, and how much will it cost to conduct a local government election in Bauchi State?
The last proposal we made was about 1.92 billion naira, which the committee now reviewed, cut it down a bit, and submitted to the government.
Local government union leaders say it has been 11 years of delayed progress at the local level, and this is happening at a time of heightened calls for local government autonomy. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.